there is an interesting story about that because we had a scene in the movie where, if you remember, Billy talks when he's with Meg on the plane, and he talks about when a man has sex, unless you're with a woman you love, you know, and you really want to be with that woman. If your man has sex and then it's over, and then he wants to go out, and you know, and it talks about a man wanting to leave and the woman wanting to cuddle, and all of this stuff is, you know, discussed. And I said that's this thing that men have, you know, that they have to, you know, that maybe women don't know as much about that as men. And I said to Nora, I said, we got to have something, the equivalent of that, you know, something that women know that men don't know about this thing. And she said, well, we found a friend of mine, Andy Scheinman, was talking to his girlfriend, and his sister said, well, what about faking orgasms? I said, what are you talking about? What are you saying here? And he says, and Nora says, oh yeah, that's a thing. And he says, at one time or another, all women, they're faking. I know, get out of here. So I go around the office, and I said, I'm going to be in delegate, but I'm going to ask her. Every woman I talked to, they all said, yeah, one time I did. And I said, oh my God, this is incredible. So we put that idea, we had that idea for the scene, you know, we put that in there, and the last line was not there. We had the scene, and then Billy Crystal came up with that line. Billy Crystal came up with the line, and I said, oh my God, that's so good, that's great. So I hired my mother to be in there, and I didn't know. I thought that line's going to get a big laugh, but what if it doesn't? Because I know her faking the orgasm is going to be funny, and if it doesn't get the topper, you know, you don't get the topper, then you say, okay. And I said to my mother, you know, I might wind up not using that because it's, you know, if it's not the topper. She said, that's okay, I don't mind. I'll come down and spend the day with you and Katz's Deli, and I'll have a hot dog, whatever. So now we're doing the scene, and Meg, who was excited to do it, but she was nervous because she's in front of a whole bunch of, you know, strangers. There's extras, there's the crew people, and she's got to go out and do this. And she does it the first time not so, it was tepid. It was a little tepid. And so I said, Meg, if this is going to work, you got to go for it. You got to really go for it. She tries it again, kind of weak, not good. And so I said, look, Meg, let me show you. So now I sit down. And I'm sitting opposite Billy, and he says, it looks like I'm on a date with Sebastian Cabot. Still gets a laugh on the Cabot reference, you know? And so I'm pounding the table, Yes, I'm doing the whole thing, yes. And I realize I'm having an orgasm in front of my mother. My mother's sitting over there. But anyway, that was the story. But then my mother did it, and she got the biggest laugh, and that goes down in the history as one of the great lines in movie history, and they quote it all the time. They put, you know, they got, you know, Clark Gable says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Humphrey Bogart says, you know, Louis, this could be the beginning of a beautiful, and then there's Estelle Reiner saying, I'll have what she's having. So she's right in there with Bogart and Gable. Yeah.